Oh, so yeah, just as we was chopping up about the smallness of the world, and when you at a certain level, I was doing an analogy. If you're a big rapper, eventually you're gonna know all the other rappers because there's only so many doing it at a certain level, and the same thing kind of happens, in the streets, either directly or indirectly. So I was joking about. Remember when we first started this whole thing, and we were thinking, well, where do we want to start off doing some advertising? And we're like, okay, well, Don Diva, that's the hottest shit. Don Diva or Feds, right? So even though Feds ended up doing the cover story, you know, Feds ended up getting the cover story. We have to get that 10th anniversary of Don Diva. We actually did the first advertisement, right? So I knew of Kevin Chiles through my man Money Walt down in Florida, because Money Walt was at Columbia with Tony Chiles, and me and Tony had met because I was running around with JC at Columbia. And I'm hearing about his brother, and Tony, of course, running around Columbia with Dapper Dan Louis Vuitton jackets on, so you knew it was something different. And I think Jay-Z, being we young, was talking. He was like, my man. And I think Tony had heard about, because I'll be coming to New York doing business for my father, and I'm running around Columbia University with $50,000, $80,000 in a Gucci briefcase, waiting on my buddy to get out of class. But at this time, Kevin has got his shop, the Boss Emporium and Boss Sneakers, already up in Harlem. A few years later, I would open up. But anyway, I didn't know that was actually the name of Kevin's company, and he had already made Boss Sneakers and Boss Emporium famous uptown until he was like, Big Boss Filmworks. And he said it like a couple times when me and Kevin are finally talking to do this deal with Don Diva for the 10th anniversary. And I was like, you like that name for a company? He's like, Big Boss. Yeah, he's like, it's just funny. I was like, well, what's funny about it, Kevin? He's like, that was the name of my store, was Boss Sneakers and Boss Emporium. So I was like, dude, I ain't trying to do no copyright infringement. I didn't know you had already made, And then I told the story, which is the truth. The reason where I came up with the name Big Boss, well, it had nothing to do with no street shit. Me and my family was traveling overseas. We got on the wrong plane, didn't have visas to get in this country in Africa. On my passport picture, I was wearing like a suit, and when I'm dealing with the customs people, I had a bunch of money on me. And anyway, the customs officer was like, we must stop. They stopped the plane and everything. They're like, this is a big boss from America. Big boss, big boss. And when you're overseas, in particular in Africa, any guy who's handling money or you're staying at the nicest hotels, they just call you boss. Or when you tip people, they'll say, thank you, boss. So when me and Lou started doing this film thing, and I had to think of a name, that story always stuck with me. This guy calling me, you're the big boss, you're the big boss. So he was like, we got to stop the plane. The big boss is on the wrong plane. And that's where the name Big Boss came from. So then when I started talking to Kevin, so Shot, it's been a while. Need to catch back up, find out what Kevin is doing. But salute to Kevin Child, salute to Don Diva magazine. And then the smallness of the world. I didn't even know about Cavario and how that all started with Don Diva at the time. And shout out to Cavario that, our paths would end up crossing with Cavario when he started working with Al Prophet. But yeah, so that's where Big Boss, I was not attempting to piggyback off of Boss Sneakers or Boss Emporium or the things that a real stand-up guy, Kevin Chiles, and if I never did say it on air, it's been 10 years since, we were talking and he was giving me some advice. But a real stand-up guy, you did not have to share your insights about how this book and DVD thing went, and you showed us love on that first advertisement. I wish we had got a chance to actually get the story in Don Diva. I know you ended up doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. But I'll never forget that. It was a stand-up guy, Kevin Chiles, on that. We did have a mutual history. He was friends with my man Walt down in Florida. Me and his brother, it got kind of cool, but I was running around Columbia when his brother was finishing up school there. But yeah, shout out to Kevin Chiles, shout out to Don Diva. Stand-up guys, 10-year reflection on this whole Big Boss Filmworks things, and Then I think you were with us. Then later we caught up to Kevin at the Harlem Book Fair. At the Harlem Book Fair.
I flashed the picture up for the folks.
Yeah, we caught up to Kevin again, and just always, he is that kind of guy, man. Just a real guy that any brother trying to make some money and do something positive, because you deal with a lot of funny style people when you out here making some moves, but Kevin Chiles was not that kind of guy, for real. So shout out to Kevin Chiles.
All right.
It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story, because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney.
Lewis Stevens,
Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, I'm a real estate retail guy. That's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, we're gonna do it. Sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy ending.
Right.